Yo, how is it going, Bears fans? Welcome back to another episode of Beared Down Uncut, where we talk everything Bears every day of the week. Will Cordarrelle Patterson see an increased role in 2020 like Matt Nagy promised? Is he a candidate to play at multiple positions, and where will he fit in? We're going to be answering these questions and many more today on Uncut episode 18. Welcome back to the show, guys. I would like to say the support on the channel has been incredible lately, so if you're stumbling across this video and want more Bears content, do us a favor, like it and subscribe, click the bell for more notifications, and let's get right into it. I am your host, Chris Maltby, and today I am joined by my co-host, Jaylen McClinton. Jaylen, how's it going, man?
It's pretty good. Feel a little sick, but we're going to continue to grind.
When does Arizona get out of quarantine?
May 15th.
Okay, so Illinois is May 30th, It's whatever at this point, just trying to flatten the curve. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. I would like to say it is 68 degrees in suburban Chicago today, so that's at least nice. But let's start talking about our guy C/P, Cordarrelle Patterson. There's a lot to break down when it comes to him. He's a very versatile player. So, Jaylen, let me read some notes I wrote about him first, and then we'll get into actually talking about him and getting into the pudding of this. So, Patterson had 11 receptions for 83 yards in Chicago in 2019. Also had 17 rushes for 103 yards. He's averaged one of the highest yards per carry out of any National Football player ever. He averages 7.6 yards per carry. He was recently named to the All-Decade team, has also played for Minnesota, Oakland, and New England before arriving in Chicago. Now, I would argue that he was utilized a little bit better in New England in 2018 as far as the offensive side of the ball goes. He had 21 catches for 247 yards and 3 touchdowns. Also 42 rushes for 228 yards and 5.6 yards per carry there in New England. He's a 3-time All-Pro and Pro Bowler, accomplished both of those in 2019 for the Bears under the title of a return specialist. That being said, he's listed at a wide receiver, obviously can be used as a kick returner and punt returner, and he also can be used as a running back and maybe even arguably at the tight end position. While he was more productive as an offensive threat with the Patriots in 2018, he was most definitely a bigger threat in Chicago as a special teamer in 2019. He had a kick return touchdown for 108 yards, 6 tackles, played in 49% of Bears special team snaps in 2019, and was incredibly valuable whether the Bears were punting or kicking at like downing and making tackles, or in receiving, obviously, and being a threat to receive kickoffs and bring them back. Earlier this offseason, when Matt Nagy was asked about it, he said he definitely wants to use him more than they have in the past as far as the offensive attack goes. So, Jaylen, let's now get into talking a little bit about Cordarrelle Patterson after I read off my huge spiel there. Do you think that Patterson deserves an extension in Chicago? He signed a 2-year, $10 million deal in the 2019 offseason. So it's a similar question to what I asked about Allen Robinson a couple days ago. Do you think C/P, a.k.a. Cordarrelle Patterson, deserves an extension? And when do you think that gets done?
Well, if we're going to talk about like his value here in Chicago, he was an All-Pro last year for special teams, made the Pro Bowl, I think. So if we're going to re-sign him just based off his special teams values, yeah. But if you want to bring up his offense and what else he can do for us, I really don't know. Last year he only had like 83 receptions. I mean, not 83 receiving yards and like 11 receptions. So we really didn't get him involved in the offense like he's used to, in Minnesota, the Raiders, and New England a couple years ago. But I might say yes because he's so valuable for special teams. He doesn't remind me of Hester, but the value that he brings to the special teams is very Hester.
Very similar.
So I'm gonna say yeah.
I'm gonna say he does remind me of Hester for that reason. Actually, I was just about to bring that up. Someone who I think when he was in Minnesota, they were hoping he was going to pan out as a receiver. Similar to how the Bears thought Hester was going to pan out as a receiver in Chicago. And I hope you agree with me on this one, but it kind of just never happened for both of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
Yeah, so very valuable special teamers who have I guess like a quote limited use on offense. I think the Bears should definitely give Cordarrelle Patterson an extension, and they also need to realize that I think he's a little bit more valuable in the run game than many people think. You know, he broke out a really big run against the Denver Broncos when we put him in the I formation there in week 2 of 2019. You know, he's very valuable throughout the offense. I do think he gets an extension in Chicago. I really hope the Bears wouldn't pass up on him because no one knows what's going to happen to Tariq Cohen. You know, we just signed Trevor Davis, who's a good special teamer, but who knows what's going to happen with him. So a lot of very familiar faces could be in different places come 2021, and I think Cordarrelle Patterson is 100% someone I want back in Chicago. Jaylen, next question for you. Does Patterson deserve more playing time on offense? And how exactly could you see him getting a higher snap count? Because a lot of people argue that he deserves to run the ball more. People think you could throw him in there at tight end just to be an extra threat on the field. So how do you think you could see Cordarrelle getting more involved in the offense in 2020?
I definitely feel like he should be involved more in this offense. This offseason, we brought in a lot of speed because we really didn't have it on the roster last year. But he was a player who had speed that was on the roster last year. You know, he's 6'2", got like 4'2", 4'3" speed. So I feel like he definitely should be, you know, used more. He could play running back, you know, like you said, tight end. He's a receiver. Put him on like a deep threat, you know, and like make 20-yard, 40-yard receptions for us if we need it. So I feel like Nagy should, you know, evolve him more into the offense, rather be running the ball, maybe at tight end, even though we have like 12 on the roster right now, but definitely.
I mean, I think we all remember that big play he had against the Dallas Cowboys last year in week 13, 14, 15, whenever that game was. That was
semi move. I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a 40-yard reception on a 3rd and 10, and he broke like a ton of tackles and ended up breaking it. So I think it's just another piece that Matt Nagy needs to get more creative with. You know, I think using him more, the better his production will get. Obviously, we know how valuable he is as a special teamer, but using him more on offense is never a bad thing. It really just adds another threat on the field. Jaylen, we got one more question here. You know, obviously, we saw in New England, he was way more of an offensive threat, wasn't used close to as much on special teams, and when he came into Chicago in 2019, they gave him a little bit of offense, but we saw him on the field there for 49% of the special team snaps, so a lot of special team play there for him. Are you fine with him giving up a little bit of special teams productions in regards to his health if it gets him a little bit more offensive snaps?
I'm going to say yes. Because we have a couple people who could fill in his need on returning. No, Tariq, he's our punt returner. But if we want to get Cordarrelle involved more into the offense, I'm pretty sure Nagy wouldn't mind putting Tariq at
kick returner as well.
Yeah, kick returner as well. So I'm gonna definitely say yes for that one.
Yeah, I mean, I also think him playing a little bit less on special teams opens up opportunities for us to see some guys that we really want to see shine, like Kindle Vildor, like Ladarius Mack, like Barkevius Mingo, who's someone that we've all heard about how good he was on special teams there for the Houston Texans with 2 punts blocked in 2019. So I think it opens up some opportunities, not only for him to be more involved in the offensive game, but also for some other players that probably rightfully deserve shots to get some shots on special teams. That's pretty much going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you for tuning in to episode 18 of Uncut. Once again, I would like to remind you guys we're really trying to hit 1.5K soon, honestly. So do us a favor, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, drop a like on this video if you want more. If you would like more content from us, head over to our website, bearddown.com, for articles, blogs, columns, anything you can ask in regards to the Bears. You can also find a link to our social media down in the description. You can follow the podcast on Instagram and Twitter at Beared Down. Jaylen McClinton, any last words?
Thank you guys so much for 1K. That means like so much to me. I've been here since day one, and you know this process and journey has been so crazy. So I just want to thank you guys so much for 1K. Make sure you guys are subscribing. Follow us on Instagram, like Chris said, and bear down.
Absolutely, man. I actually completely forgot to ask you about that at the beginning of the episode. But it's been crazy. But that being said, we're seeing some pretty crazy growth right now, and the grind's not going to stop. So thank you guys for tuning in to episode 18 of Uncut. Look out for some more stuff, hopefully tonight. Once again, I am your host, Chris Malpe. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, Chicago, stay safe and bear down. Peace.